November 22nd, 1970, Houston, Texas, in front of 18,500 fans at the Astrodome. A gospel choir appeared unannounced backstage. The crowd went dead silent when Elvis Presley, mid-song, stepped off stage, pulled the choir close, and embraced them. What happened next changed the show and the world forever. The evening air in Houston carried the sweetness of popcorn and the faint tang of leather jackets. Stagehands scuttled across the Astrodome floor, adjusting mics and cues, whispering last-minute instructions. 18,500 fans filled the stadium, a restless ocean of anticipation. Teenagers perched on bleachers, couples held hands, and reporters scribbled frantically, capturing the scene for tomorrow's headlines. Elvis Presley stood center stage, glittering white jumpsuit catching the floodlights, guitar slung low. Each strum echoed like a heartbeat, each note measured against the collective pulse of the crowd. A hush fell over the audience, a reverent pause as he leaned into the mic. Then, beneath applause and murmurs, a distant hum began, low but growing, unfamiliar yet commanding. The sound rippled through the arena, drawing stray glances. Whispers flared like fire through the stands. Something was stirring backstage, something that could disrupt the night, or perhaps elevate it beyond expectation. Have you ever felt a sudden pause in your own life, that moment before something extraordinary occurs? A shadow moved behind the curtain, drawing curious stares. The stadium seemed to hold its breath collectively, waiting for the unknown to arrive. A shadow moves behind the curtain, and whispers ripple through the crowd. Backstage doors burst open with a sudden crash, and 30 voices rose in perfect, unanticipated harmony. A gospel choir, uninvited and unrehearsed, filled the cavernous space with radiant song. The sudden eruption froze the stagehands mid-step. Security officers paused, exchanging wary glances. Walkie-talkies crackled, but no one had a plan. Elvis's guitar halted mid. He blinked, stunned, as the choir's voices intertwined with his halted melody. Murmurs surged through the stands. Some fans cheered instinctively, clapping their hands. Others pressed against their seats in disbelief. The contrast of chaos and beauty electrified the arena, every heart in the Astrodome catching a shared pulse of suspense. Cameras clicked, Polaroids flashed, and whispers raced through the aisles. Some teenagers leaped onto seats, craning their necks for a better view. The crowd teetered between fear of disruption and fascination, unsure whether to resist or embrace what they were witnessing. When faced with unplanned moments, do we resist, or do we allow them to transform us? Elvis took a step toward the choir. The audience leaned forward in unison, holding their collective breath. In that pregnant moment, anticipation and uncertainty collided, setting the stage for a choice that would ripple far beyond the night's performance. Elvis steps toward the choir, and the crowd leans in collectively, holding its breath. The Astrodome pulsed like a living organism, every heartbeat of the crowd amplifying tension. Security edged closer to the stage, whispering urgent cautions into walkie-talkies. Some suggested halting the performance. Others urged caution, unsure whether to intervene or trust Elvis's instincts. Fans were split. Cheers erupted from one side. Do it. Embrace them. While murmurs of disbelief and concern rose from another. The choir's voices continued, weaving seamlessly into Elvis's halted melody. The contrast of orchestrated harmony against the backdrop of uncertainty intensified every second. Time seemed to stretch. Each note became a suspended heartbeat, Elvis scanned the faces of the audience, then the choir. He could return to scripted perfection, dismiss the interruption, and restore control. Or he could take a risk, an unexpected choice that could either ignite magic or provoke chaos. The decision hung in the air, as tangible as the scent of popcorn and sweat mingling in the arena. How often does fear of disruption prevent us from witnessing something extraordinary? In your own life, do you step forward when uncertainty calls, or retreat into the familiar? The crowd leaned forward collectively, tension crackling. Security held their breath. And then, in a moment that no one anticipated, Elvis raised his hand, a subtle signal, almost silent, but charged with intention. Elvis, in a moment nobody predicted, raises his hand, signaling an unexpected choice. Elvis stepped down from the stage. The echo of his boots reverberated across the Astrodome like timpani, punctuating the sudden silence. 30 voices, once separate, now hung in perfect harmony, as if holding their breath in unison with the 18,500 onlookers. He reached the choir and enveloped them in a single, legendary embrace. Cameras clicked, flashes popping in quick succession, capturing an intimacy that was unplanned, cinematic, human. Fans gasped. Some wept quietly. The arena's energy shifted from tension to awe, a wave of compassion rolling through every corner of the crowd. Whispers punctuated the stillness. "Did you see that?" Incredible short bursts of reactions. A fan clutching a Polaroid. A security guard smiling softly. A young teenager whispering to a mother illustrated the collective heartbeat of the moment. The choir's harmonies merged with the lingering notes of Elvis's haunted melody, creating a singular resonance that felt larger than life. Have you ever witnessed a simple act of kindness that stopped time? The stage became a canvas of human connection. Every eye, every camera lens, every hand held aloft documented the magic unfolding, proof that an unexpected act of compassion could dissolve tension and ignite unity. Fans begin, recording on Polaroids and bootleg tapes, eager to capture this historic moment. Hands clasped across the stage, bridging fan and choir alike. Ronnie, a young drummer who had been nervously tapping in the wings, exchanged a grin with Clara, the choir lead, their eyes reflecting mutual recognition of the night's magic. Gifts moved from hand to hand, a guitar pick here, a signed setlist there, a fallen scarf picked up and held carefully, a symbol of newfound unity. Voices mingled, weaving a tapestry of sound that transcended rehearsal and expectation. Strangers became companions, and the arena had shifted from a room of spectators to a communion of participants. Even the security team, once tense and watchful, relaxed into the rhythm of collective joy, swept up in a moment they could not have anticipated. The crowd, previously split between confusion and excitement, now swelled with shared understanding. Cameras and Polaroids documented fleeting expressions of awe. The stage, once just a platform for performance, had become a place of spontaneous human connection. Whispers of collaboration and impromptu jams threaded through backstage corners, promising future musical encounters. What moments in your life have transformed strangers into companions? Outside the arena, news outlets began picking up the story. Whispers became headlines, radio segments replayed the unplanned harmony, and the night's energy began to ripple beyond the walls of the Astrodome. What had started as an unexpected intrusion was fast becoming a legend in its own right. News outlets pick up the story. Whispers turn into headlines. By the following morning, Houston's streets buzzed with stories of the previous night. The Houston Chronicle ran a front-page headline: Elvis stops to embrace surprise gospel choir. Radio stations replayed bootleg recordings. Early television segments aired footage of the embrace. Fans spoke reverently of the night Houston changed forever, a moment etched into memory before the concept of viral had even existed. Plaques were later installed to commemorate the historic event, and foundations cited it as inspiration for charitable collaborations. The Astrodome, once just a stage, had become a symbolic space where unexpected compassion resonated across communities. From teenagers clutching Polaroids to seasoned journalists witnessing the unscripted tenderness, the ripple effect extended far beyond the arena walls. The legacy of that night threaded into popular culture, influencing musicians and audiences alike. Decades later, a young singer in a small town would watch the footage, eyes wide with wonder, dreaming of moments where courage and empathy could transform ordinary performances into extraordinary experiences, which, spontaneous acts in history, echo far longer than planned events. Decades later, a young singer watches the clip and dreams bigger. Greatness is not measured solely by control or talent, but by compassion and openness to the unexpected. That unplanned gospel choir reminded thousands that legends live not just on stage, but in the courage to embrace the unforeseen. Every note, every embrace, every gasp of the crowd became a testament to human connection and shared wonder. Could you have made the same choice if the spotlight was on you? Could you have made the same choice if the spotlight was on you? Share this story with someone who believes in the power of unexpected kindness. Reflect on the moments in your life where courage and openness transformed ordinary events into unforgettable memories. Watch, remember, and carry forward the lesson that compassion can ripple farther than any script ever written.